Welcome back to Prof E Plays. I'm Prof E, and today we'll be starting the first of our, um, I guess, plays of Dungeon Crawl Classics. So I have decided to name this series the Vault of Xanmar. We have our 13 villagers recruited by a cleric, sent off right to this unexplored continent. Well, at least it was previously civilized but has been abandoned for quite some time. So the 13 of them have been taken to this island, or continent, where they're supposed to find the Vault of Xanmar. I'm going to assume they can get there fairly easily, and then get into it, get this artifact, which we know some kind of cult wants to use to summon a demon or dark lord or something like that. We don't really know a lot of the details on that, but we know that they want it for some nefarious purpose. We want to get there first and get it before they do. So that is the goal. So I'm going to go ahead and get things started here. Let me go ahead and move that out of the way. And we've got here my nice dice tray. All right. So let's go ahead and start out. We just arrived. So I'm going to go ahead and use the uh, game unfolding machine. So here, one of the options, at least in version 1, I don't know if this made it to version 2 or not, was the scene designer table. So this is what you can use if you really don't know what's going to be happening. Right, so I'm going to go ahead and roll on that. And it says a 14. 14 is a random event, so an event or interruption that could affect plans, a keyed scene, something important happens. Right, so this is as we are arriving at the Vault of Xanmar. Uh, we come to the entrance here in the going very, very traditional here in the side of the mountain. We're going to speak friend and enter, right, that kind of thing. Right, so we have here at the entrance, and then something random happens. So what I'm thinking for this random event is that, and it sounds like the most obvious thing would be that we run across, because we know that we're being watched. That is one of the things we established. We run across one of the people who is watching us. It seems like a reasonable thing to have happened. Right, so let's see. Okay, so I'm wondering how this is going to go. Right, so I assume one of our people is going to see them. It doesn't particularly matter who, they pointed out to the others, and so we all see this. Right, so I'm wondering, is this, so I'm going to check using my oracle, is it a group of people? Let's see, we've got a 7 here. The 7 is a no, right? So it is not a group. This means it's an individual person that's there. Okay, so I really was not expecting this, and that's what you do solo RPG stuff, to be surprised, right? So I'm going to check here, see if I can come up with a name for this person. Right, so we've got here's a table of names for me. I need a D100 here. Oh wait, okay, so another question. So the question is, do they see me? I think that's important. Right. So our group is fairly obvious. It seems likely they're going to notice us, and they are here to watch us. That's something. Are they following us? That's really the bigger question. Were they following us? Alternatively, if they were not following us, then they were already here. Okay. 3, that's a no. They were not following us. So in fact, they were already here. Okay, so they're already here, which means it is possible that they may not notice us approaching. So that's the question. Did they notice us approaching? 3, also no. All right, so we have the potential here to sneak up on them. So let's go ahead and try that. So who are we going to send ahead? Well, I mean, we have here Carl, the lawful costermonger. Sure, he's willing to sneak ahead. He has an agility of 13, which gives him +1. So let's go ahead and roll. I mean, let's going to say this is fairly a standard difficulty. So let's make it a DC of 10. Right, so, oh wow. Well, that'd be an automatic failure of a 1. So 1 plus 1, that's 2, but 1 is an automatic failure in any case. So, so Carl does try to sneak up and is very quickly noticed by this person. And so this person, I assume, has a name. What their name is, I don't know. Let's find out. Okay, I'm going to pull out my D100 here. I keep my dice in bags, so here we go. The D100 says 55 is their name. All right, so let's pull this out. So 55, check the random tables they have here somewhere. If I can find, oh, there we go. 55, so this is going to be, what kind of person are they? Are they a warrior, wizard, cleric, warrior, thief, fantastic creature? I'm going to say they're probably wizard, cleric, something in that range. So this is going to be Mola. Right. Pretty. Okay, so we come across Mola, who is preparing to enter. What? Yes, I am really recording. Preparing to enter the dungeon. So I think it makes sense for us. No, okay, he noticed us, so we want to try to subdue him. I think let's do that. So I'm going to go ahead and run this as a combat. We're going to try to subdue.
What are you doing?
Told you, I'm recording.
Hello, YouTube. Bye bye. I'm sleepy.
So we're going to try to subdue um Mola here. Okay, so I think let's go ahead and enter into a combat here. Right, so Mola, let's see if I can find some reasonable stats here for him. Right, so we have men and magicians. So let's see. So what kind of person do we think he is? Let's see. I mean, he is here to watch us. So I'm thinking, in terms of stats, acolyte maybe. Although that doesn't seem quite right. Assassin possible. Bandit. When I guess he was here to enter. I assumed he was going to enter and then watch us from there. Right. Berserker, no, almost certainly not. Fortune, no. Not fortune teller, friar, king, knight. Magician, maybe. Man at arms, I mean, that's very possible. Noble, peasant, sage, or witch. I'm thinking it's going to make sense to run this. Let's run him as a say a bandit. So specifically a bandit hero. So I have his stats here. All right. So I'm just going to set this to the side. Mark my spot. The initiative here. We're going to use the best initiative from our group is at a +2, so it's 13, and a bandit hero is initiative plus. Okay, so he gets to move first. So I'm trying to figure out exactly what he would do in this situation because he's clearly vastly outnumbered. At the same time, we're all just kind of ragtag villagers. We're not particularly well prepared. So I guess that's a question that I can ask the Oracle, right? So is he going to try to run away? That seems like a possibility. Uh, 5 is a no, right? So he's standing to fight. Right. So I'm going to just go ahead and make the assumption that he's going to attack Carl first. Carl is the first in line, just by virtue of the alphabet. I decided just to do things alphabetically. So Carl the costermonger uh, is going to be attacked right by this bandit. The attack here. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and write down some of the his stats. His attack's at a +4. Does 1d8 plus 2 damage. Okay, with a scimitar. And he has AC 16 with his hit dice of 2d8. Let's go ahead and roll that now. Let's see how many hit points we're dealing with here. Like, odds are we're going to be able to. Okay, so it's 11 in his case. Odds are we're going to be able to take him without too much problem, but let's go ahead and see what happens. All right, so he's going to go ahead and attack Carl. At a +4, that'd be 16. 16 is enough to hit Carl. So what kind of damage does he do? He does 1d8 plus 2. That would be 8 damage, which is enough to take Carl out. So Carl is out. All right. Then over to our turn. we have the 12 of us remaining. So Sharpendel is going to go ahead and make an attack using his scissors. Sharpendel is a Chandler, is an elf. Oh, awesome. So that would be 20. That is a critical hit. All right, so critical hit, check the critical hit table for level 0 characters, which I think they copied that one in the back. They did. Not all of them have copies in the back, but this one does. All right, so how this works for critical hits, I would roll a d4 because it's a level 0 character. That is something that changes as your character advances levels. But all level 0 characters, you just roll a d4 and then add luck to it. In Sharpendel's case, there is no luck modifier. So just roll a d4. It's a 1. That indicates that as an opportunistic strike, we deal plus 1d3 damage with this strike. All right, so we've got a d3, which I'm just going to do d6 divided by 2, round it up. So d3 and then also d4 for damage. So d3 and d4, roll those. And we've got 1 and another 4, so 5 points of damage here. He's almost down half. All right. And then we've got Ferb coming up next. Now, all of this, I'm doing subdual damage. Subdual damage meaning I'm just trying to subdue him. I'm not trying to kill him at this point. Right, so Ferb. Ferb is a farmer, specifically a potato farmer. What that is worth. Um, it's a fruitless thing. Sure, why not? All right. 8. Oh, that was 8. That bumped it. So 8, and he is using its pitchfork, which would have a modifier of 0 on it, so that would definitely be a miss since I need an AC of 16. Oh, yes, the previous one would fit. Okay, I got mixed up. I forgot that it was a natural 20. Right, next up, Phineas, then. Also a farmer, a rice farmer specifically, and rolls a 6, definitely not going to hit an AC of 16. Then we have Helmet. Helmet was our healer. 17 is using a club, so it would then use a strength-based modifier, but that's 0. Right, so that means just 17, and roll a d4 on this one. 2 points of subdual damage. So we're down to 4 points of damage. All right. Now at this point, I'm going to interrupt and see if Mola is going to just panic and try to run away at this point. So let's see what happens. Let's see, so we've got here will of +1. So I'm doing this as a morale check. So he rolls at a +1, that's 12. Okay, morale check checks out. So he is willing to stay to fight out to the end where he ends up either subdued or dead. Right? Or he takes out everybody. That's, I guess, a possibility. All right. So let's go ahead and roll this one. Helmet, then. Attacks. Helmet, it's Helmet the healer. I think, yes, I think this is correct. I might accidentally be giving Helmet an extra attack. I lost track. In any case, he missed. So it doesn't really matter. All right, next up then, Igor. Igor, using his staff. Igor is, of course, oh dear. Igor the Indentured Servant just fumbled. So I need to check the fumble table. Okay, so when you fumble, right now we don't have any armor on, so it's just a D4. Again, modified by luck. Right, so fumbles. Okay, so for fumble, roll the D4. No luck modifier for him, so it's 3. So what happens here, your weapon comes loose in your hand. You quickly grab it, but your grip is disrupted. You take a -2 penalty on your next attack. Right, so Igor is going to be at a -2 next time. We'll see if I can remember that. Okay. I think it only makes sense logically to apply that if we're still in the same combat. If we manage to subdue him before that, then I think we're okay. All right. Next then, Jolly. Jolly is a jester, so Jolly is well named, and Jolly, however, is not a fighter. Right. Marv then, Marv the Mendicant, 14, close, but no cigar. Uther. Uther also fumbles. Uther has awful, awful luck. So 2 minus 2 would actually be a 0. So let's see what that fumble of a 0 gives us. All right, the fumble table tells me that fumble of 0, you miss wildly, but miraculously cause no other damage. Eh, I feel like I'm using the fumble table wrong. Let me double check this. Okay, so just to look. Yeah. Okay, I think that the way that the fumble table is actually supposed to work, I think I was reading it, I was doing the wrong thing with the luck. Sometimes you add luck, sometimes you subtract it, and I think that I may have been doing it wrong here. So let me check. 79 and 80. It's a matter of whether a high score is a good thing or a bad thing. I think here the high scores are actually a bad thing. All right, so fumbles, yeah, you had the reverse, right? So 2 there would not actually be 2 minus 2, it would be 2 plus 2, which would read as a 4. So your weapon's damaged, a bowstring breaks, a sword hilt falls off, or a crossbow firing mechanism jams. The weapon can be repaired with 10 minutes of work, but is useless for now. So, so this is Uther, right? Uther's weapon is literally a stick. His stick apparently breaks in some way, he can repair it in 10 minutes. All right, so I'm going to remove Uther from this while he is having to work on that until he can get another weapon. Okay, Vilbo then is the next one. Vilbo rolls, gets a 13, but it's at -3 because he's a terrible fighter. Vilbo is not very strong. His strength is actually quite low. Um, well, I realize here, I made a mistake with something here. All right, there we go. How about Vord? Vord is the wizard apprentice, and he is not a fighter either. At least not a very good one. Weston. Weston, similarly, it was a 3 before I moved it. And then William, the woodcutter. Oh, awesome. We got somebody that actually managed to get a hit in. All right. With his hand axe, right? So his hand axe does 2 points of subdual damage. So we made it all the way through, and Moloch still has 2 hit points remaining. Okay. Right, so let's see. So what happened to Igor? Oh yeah, Igor got a -2 next time around. Right, so come back around to the next round, and we've got our dear friend Moloch is going to make an attack. Already managed to take out Carl, so it's going to attack the first person in order now, and that's Sharfendel. With an 11, 11 plus 4 is certainly enough to hit Sharfendel's AC of 9. Therefore, we see damage done. 1d8 plus 2. That'd be 7. Yeah, that's going to take Sharpendel out. So Sharpendel, our Elven Chandler, sorry, you are taken out. All right, happens. Next, then, we're back around to us. Herb, the farmer, dairy farmer, fumbles. Disastrous. All right, let's see what's happening here with the fumble. Fumble's a 2, no luck modifier. So you trip, but may recover with a DC 10 reflex save. Otherwise, you must spend the next round prone. All right, so let's go ahead and roll this reflex save of it's a DC 10. It's at a -2. 7 minus 2 is definitely not going to hit that DC. So Ferb tripped. It's going to have to spend next turn getting up. Oh, this is really bad. Okay, Phineas. So Phineas, also a farmer, on the other hand, does significantly better, gets a critical hit. Right? What's that critical hit look like? It's a 4 minus 2, though, because Phineas is pretty unlucky. But 4 minus 2 gives us 2. Foe jabbed in the eye. Right, so he pokes him in the eye with a pitchfork. Oh, ouch. ugly bruising, and inflict plus 1d4 damage. So I get a d8 and a d4. This is subdual damage again because we are intentionally trying not to kill him. Right, so we've got 4 plus 2. Yeah, that'd be 8 points. No, 4 plus 2 is 8. Yeah, 6 points of damage. He only has 2 hit points left. So that is enough to convince Moloch to give up the fight at this point. Right, so we'll take these here. Um, so everybody else, I'm going to say Ferb manages to recover himself. Right. Igor similarly manages to kind of recover himself as well. Uther manages to fix his stick. This is a great game. I love this already. Right, so I've never played this game before I started this series. So all right, so they're all good, and they manage. I like certainly some of them have rope. I yeah. So Phineas is one that has some rope, right? So they can tie up a Moloch so he can't run away or something like that. Meanwhile, we're also going to double check on one of the things that I like about this game is that it has this mechanic by which if somebody is supposed to have died, they may not have actually died. So that is a possibility, right? We have to do luck checks for our two potentially dead people. So that'd be Carl and Sharfendel. So Carl is not particularly lucky. He has a luck of 8. So the way that luck checks work, I will roll a d20, and if it rolls less than the luck score, right, then we're lucky. And in this case, that means Carl is not dead. Of all the times to roll a natural 20. So Carl Ostermonger is in fact dead. Set him aside. Then we have Sharfendel. Sharfendel is significantly luckier. He has a score of 10, and he's in fact alive. So but now a couple things happen. So he comes back. He has 1 hit point, which actually was all he had to start with. So that's not really a big deal. But he also is going to lose a point of strength, agility, or stamina, depending. So we're going to roll here. Roll that as a d3. So this would be interpreted as a 3. So stamina then would drop from 10 down to 9. Not a huge deal because it has the same modifier. Right? That is something that may matter in the long term, but at least in the short term is not that big a deal. Okay. All right, so that's Sharfendel is still around at least. Carl, however, is not. So we're going to do the classic thing of looting the body. So I'm going to see who do I actually have like a sack or something. All right. So Ferb is the first in line that actually has a sack. Right, so I think that he is going to try to grab whatever he can here. So there are a good 5 days of rations, right, which is going to be added then, right, to Ferb's 1 day of rations, so he's up to 6 days. A water skin, that's kind of nice. Some fruit, and also 5 torches, so up to 8 torches here. Beautiful. So Ferb takes Carl's stuff, since he has room in his large sack for it, and then, dear Carl, poor Carl, is dead. All right, so I think that's a good place to end it. We are still here at the entrance. Oh wait, no, you know what? No, let's actually question him before we go. Right. All right. So we're gonna question Moloch. So the first obvious thing is Moloch. I'm going to be using the um, game unfolding machines oracle here. Right. So this is where you can, through the process of dialogue, you can actually create what the results would be, what the responses would be. Oh, you just have to ask yes or no questions. So, so I guess here's the question. So Moloch, uh, were you sent here to spy on us? Moloch says, yes, of course. Okay. Well, we now are very aware of this. So I think that the story that Moloch tells us, right, is that yeah, he was sent right by this by this cult, right, to uh, spy on us, and then I suspect what his actual instructions were, right, was to let us go in, get as far as we could at the very least, but ideally go and get the device, the artifact, whatever this happens to be, and then bring it back out to him. And then he was supposed to steal it from us. I think that was really the goal, was that he wasn't actually ever really planning to go in. So, although we know that when we found him, he was planning to go in at least a little bit, right? So I think that he was just going to kind of wait near the entrance or something like that, and then ambush us on our way out after we've already gone through a bunch of stuff. So we're probably not very many of us left, that kind of thing. So that was really what the plan was at this point. So now we figure out what we're going to do with him. And so I mean, we could of course just kill him right now. That is something that is within the realm of possibility. But at the same time, don't know. I mean, we don't want to drag him around with us. I mean, we could just tie him to a tree and just like leave him here. I assume that there's a tree nearby. I'm not going to bother rolling for that. Right? That there are trees virtually everywhere, or at least something we could tie him to. And so I guess that's an interesting question. Um, like, is that kind of the consensus we'd come to? Well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go through. Uh, Charfendel is chaotic. So Charfendel. Uh, Now, Sharpendale, I think, would be somewhat conflicted because of being chaotic. Because here's the thing: chaotic, so okay with killing people. At the same time, right, Moloch is part of cult that is trying to summon a demon. So okay with that too. Um, so I don't know that Sharpendale has strong opinions either way. Ferb is neutral, and I think being neutral, you generally don't want to just kill people that are helpless, right? So I think at least Phineas, Ferb, Urban Phineas, Helmet is lawful. I think would rather keep him tied up for now. Igor is lawful. Jolly is lawful. Marv is lawful. So I think we have a majority here that is lawful. Uther's chaotic. Vilvo is lawful. Vord is neutral. So I think between the neutrals and the lawfuls, that we're going to end up with the consensus being, let's just take him. We're going to tie him to. Okay, so we're going to take Moloch. We're going to tie Moloch to a tree out here outside of the Vault of Xanmar, and we'll pick him up on the way out. That kind of thing. Just pretty much like he was planning to pick us up on the way out. We'll pick him up on the way out. That's our plan. Right, so Moloch, plant the tree, which means somebody's rope is going to have to be used for that. So who has rope? Um, here we go. Phineas. Phineas says, "Oh, I have some rope." Right. So tie with Phineas's rope. The rope is no longer with Phineas. Go ahead and erase that from his commitment for now. All right. So we are pretty well set there. All right. And I think that is a good place to end this session. So I'm going to stop here. Um, and this is Prof E signing off.